You mentioned you've done 4-stroke karting championships, but not 2-stroke. Any specific reason for that?
So honestly, the only thing was 4-stroke karting was to build our bases.
Right.
So our basics were built by Rohit sir, and to put them actually on track in races, we stepped into the JE Tire 4-stroke karting championships.
Okay.
We felt that we wanted to just get the hang of the 2-stroke and then step into the LGB category.
Acha, that was the plan.
That was the plan.
So what exactly is the difference between 4-stroke karting and 2-stroke karting?
So in layman terms, the difference between 2-stroke and 4-stroke is basically that the 2-strokes are faster.
Okay.
So obviously the forces you feel is much more, the handling is much different. Like the car will slide more, and obviously you'll have to adapt to it. If you want to go for 2-stroke, it's better that you have your own car rather than renting one, because rented ones, the conditions are awful.
Okay.
So it's better that you have your own car than maintaining it and all the maintenance cost that comes with it.
And now you seem to be very much focused and interested, I would say, in saloon car racing. Any specific reason for that?
Honestly, I feel that there's a way you can manipulate those cars when you are driving them. Formula cars, you turn them this much, they will turn this much.
Right.
Right?
Huh.
There's a margin you have to stick to drive those cars. For me, it's not just my love for cars or speed or motorsports, it's all of them combined together. And that I feel you get more in the saloon cars, where you need to learn about the car more rather than just driving on a margin.
And LGB mein, do they have like a minimum driving age, or you can participate?
I believe the minimum driving age is 15 years old for LGB.
It's 15 in LGB.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think for Formula 1300s, I'm not quite sure, but it might be 13 or 14 years old.
Okay. Any stereotypes you faced as a young female driver?
I think
I'm sure there are tons.
there are a lot, but to sum it up, actually, is a lot of people have just said ki bachchi hai, kya kar legi. They undermine my potential, which I feel is not right, because just because you've seen other women driving very stupidly doesn't mean every single woman drives that way.
I mean, dude, guys are no great.
Exactly. I've seen I've competed with them on track, obviously not on roads. Can't race on roads.
Doesn't right, correct.
Yeah, I can't even drive on road yet. But on track,
107 days from the license.
I'm waiting. I'm counting the days down. I told my mom yesterday.
But believe me, Muskan, I can tell you one thing. तेरे को license मिल भी जाएगा ना. ऐसे कोई great नहीं है बाहर दुनिया. I'm telling you, you'll want to be on the circuit only.
I know, but it's... See, driving a race car on track, like the one I drive on track, I have been for the past 2 years, it's the 8 years. And the thing is, the car that I'll get to drive on the road is probably the M340i or the M4 Comp.
From that viewpoint, yes. That lens, yes.
It's not just, about racing on track, but it's also about enjoying the drive.
Plus, I think the track days also, the moment you get your license, you'll get automatically, then you have access to participating in track days. Whichever car you have, let's say you have the M340i or the M4, the green one is the M4 if I'm not wrong.
M4 competition.
M4 competition. So, I think track days mein to abhi hota bhi hai ki they do ask you for your license or no? Track days.
So, I have participated in track days before, but that is only due to the reason that I'm already a race car driver, professional race car driver, and I do hold the FMSCI license. Perfect. But also, my parents signed the indemnity and their license gets submitted instead of mine. Also, as legal guardians.
Any sacrifices? I mean, I'm sure you've made many sacrifices because you wanted to be a racer all your life, I would say, because 7 साल की उम्र से तो शुरू ही कर दिया था. But what kind of sacrifices have you made?
I think just started took some. So, honestly, I feel there isn't much of a sacrifice I feel that I've made because I love the sport. So anything I do related to the sport is just an advantage or a bonus for me. I don't feel like I have sacrificed anything as important as racing for me. But if you talk on a casual note, it's probably family vacations. Because if I have my championship, right, we're probably traveling thrice or 4 times to Chennai a year, or probably making short trips. So, like, we used to go for international trips earlier. Now we just, we're going. I remember in 2019, I kept a count that we went to Bangalore thrice, we went to Coimbatore, we went to Bombay. It's just within India that we're traveling for races, or maybe just a weekend's getaway that we get with family. But main sacrifice, I don't feel there is any.
You don't seem like you've missed out on anything because you wanted to focus on racing.
No, I love the sport. I don't think I've sacrificed anything.
Brilliant.
And I started it from a young age. So I don't think I've had anything so important when I was 8 years old to sacrifice. It was like.
So this was all about the motorsports that you have participated in India. Talk to me through the motorsporting events that you've participated in abroad, in other countries.
So the one motorsport event I have participated internationally is the Dubai Karting Championship.
Okay. When was this?
This was in 2020.
Just after COVID. Just
During COVID.
during COVID. Yeah, during
It
COVID.
was December 2020.
Got it.
So I actually like the way how it was very organized, very sorted. And the level of competition that was there, it wasn't just male dominated. It actually felt like other people over there, not just males, the females as well, they're at par with the males. They're giving them competition. And it wasn't easy. Like, for me, I was... How old was I?
You were
I'm 14 years old.
14 probably, yeah.
So I was 14 years old and I was competing with people who were 30 to 32 years old. And they had experience of racing of 15 years old. And I was 14. I was like, that's crazy. So the one thing that I was really impressed with was the amount of competition. Like, it was at par, not like India.
Okay. Do you think there's a reason behind it? I mean, I'm sure you would have thought you would have an opinion on that. What do you think is the reason behind it? I mean, the fact that you mentioned that wahan pe men and women are standing on the same grid, but out here it's a rarity to see that.
It is. I feel mostly because, number one, there's a lack of awareness. People aren't aware about the sport or that it exists. Or even if you do know that it exists, how do you step into it? There's a lack of awareness for that. Number two, even if people love the sport or have a passion for it, there are still people who come from families who are old-minded. They don't...
Got it. Old school.
they're
Understood.
old school. They don't...
Understood.
They don't let their children participate in these type of events. I know this because there have been people knocking on my Instagram. They're like, can you please talk to our parents? They're not allowing us to come on track.
I mean, it's completely relatable. I'll tell you my thing very quickly. I mean, I've been into off-roading for the past few years. I still remember getting the first Thar with the moment it was launched. And shuffling a few years forward, and I had been off-roading and mom and dad had no idea कि क्या करने जाता है and all that. And of course, they were scared every time I went for an OTR, thinking कि पता नहीं ये लोग क्या ही करते होंगे. And then one fine day, instead of trying to convince them, I just took dad along with me. वो बात अलग है. Unfortunately, उसी दिन उन्होंने अपनी आंखों के सामने 2 topples देख लिए. But then the good part was, and I really give that man a cookie for this, that he saw actually, and he still says that कि ठीक है चलो यार तुम इतने extreme sports में जा रहे हो, ये सारी चीज़ कुछ भी हो सकता है, but what matters is that चलो there's a roll cage, there's a proper roll cage in your car. And you guys are wearing helmets, you guys are wearing a 4-point seat belt.
Seat belt.
Even if something happens, you guys are equipped. And I think that's exactly the same for any sport. Today, if you're playing cricket, imagine playing cricket without an elbow guard or without pads or whatever it is. Ball agar aapko aake lagegi, it's as bad as a bullet. Probably it'll hurt more.
Yeah, that's what I've tried explaining to other parents as well. Like, there have been people who've showed my videos to their parents कि अगर ये 17 साल की बच्ची कर सकती है तो मैं क्यों नहीं कर
Parents
सकता?
तेरी बात नहीं मानेंगे. Parents मैम की बात मानेंगे. So very recently, Muskan, I'm not sure if you know Sarika Sherawat
Yeah.
Bora, the legend
Yes.
rally driver. Hats off to her, and we had a great conversation about her episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And she mentioned her experience when she was racing down south. I think she started racing down south in Esteems,
Okay.
if I'm not wrong. मेरे को याद आ रहा है जहाँ तक. And it took her a while to sort of get in the good books of the people from down south. Because बहुत कम लोग हैं जो मेरा भी experience रहा है. And what Sarika also very evidently mentioned, that initially when somebody from North India goes down to South India and competes with them, तो कहीं ना कहीं they are just not able to digest, just in case you're faster or better than them in that particular sport. So you actually have to do it multiple times to really earn that respect from them. What has been your experience in that?
So since the beginning of me stepping into like national karting only, I've had to travel to South for all my championships.
Of course.
All my races have been in South. So there are a few people who are quite helpful. Like, if they're helpful to you, they'll be like there for you always, happy for you and all. But then it's like a spectrum where there are good people, and then it comes to the people who are only happy till the time they're succeeding. And if they see you succeed, they won't be happy for you.
No.
He's like, they'll be nice to your face till the time you're below them, they're happy. And then right when you do better than them, it gets on their nerves. Unki ego hurt ho jati hai. कि how is she better than me?
Yeah.
So, North South, there is minor partiality there, but I wouldn't say all of them are the same, but there are ones who are quite nice to you. So it depends person to person, honestly.
Even I happen to have a few gentlemen down south who are like great tuners. And they're like great buddies of mine, but I completely get what you're saying, because again, not like I've experienced it in racing because I've not been into professional racing, but I've met a few people and they all have a very similar opinion. Any instances, if you remember, and this is not in connection to North-South conversation that we just had, but have there been any instances wherein in circuit racing, you've seen your car being tampered overnight, and the moment you sit in the car the next day morning and you feel, yaar, ye shit, kuch to gadbad hai. Why does the car feel so different?
Yeah, it has happened actually. So it was in the MRF saloons only. So it was round 2 of this season actually. So the round 1 was all right, didn't go as well as expected. And round 2, Dad and I went early. Mom was with us and we worked on the car. We left late night, came in the morning for the quali, and I came back and I told that the car has less power.
Okay.
And he's like, it cannot be possible. We checked the car the night before. How is it possible? And I was like, no, there's a power loss. I'm telling you. It's not the same. The car is not the same. We checked. The suspension clicks were changed. The spark plug was loose. And my... so basically, these were the major ones.
Okay.
So this round, the day after that, what we did is we kept the seat position in a certain way and we turned the steering a bit to know where we kept it, right? We came back, suspension clicks changed again, steering wheel was zeroed, and so was the seat position. It was changed.
Oh my God.
And we checked it this time, so we know. And then we informed the team principal about it. So of course this didn't happen again, but we did check the car every single day when we came, and we learned okay, we have to look out for whatever mischief can happen on track. And it's actually surprising because you're doing this to a 17-year-old's car. Are you actually threatened to do these things? Like, how can you actually do this?
You don't have the perfect words.
It's actually quite funny because you're racing in a national championship. Play it the fair way. Are you threatened by a 17-year-old's car? 17-year-old to mess with her car, to bring down her performance.
Because it doesn't matter if it's a 17, you're faster than them.
I'm faster than that, that's what. It's just, first they undermine me, then they're scared of me, and then they play with my car. So, it's quite funny.
Okay. And talking about instances, give me a couple of interesting instances that might have happened with you while you're racing that मतलब छप गए हैं दिमाग में.
So this one incident happened recently, and
Recently, as in August.
In August.
Okay.
And so basically, in the MRF Saloons Championship, there are 3 rounds.
Okay.
And in each round, there are 3 races. So in round 3, race 2, I was running 4th.
Okay.
Right? And I made this overtake where in one of the corners, I saw a gap. So there was second, third, fourth, right? And I was in 4th position. And now the second and the third person are fighting for the position. I'm right behind, waiting for the right moment to make the overtake, right? So this corner where the person left the gap opened, right? We're like this way. I've crossed half length and we take the corner together. We're taking the corner, there is absolutely no contact, right? And then out of nowhere, the person just goes towards the left, right into the barrier. I'm wondering, I'm looking, so thank God it was a straight patch. I'm going, right? I'm looking at his car and he's like going into the barrier. And I'm like, I did not touch him. And he's experienced enough to, handle the car. And I was like...
You mean that guy was seasoned?
He wasn't seasoned in the car or the championship, but he has multiple experiences outside.
Okay.
Like rallies and...
Okay.
So it was quite surprising. I'm like, okay, this also happens. And after the race got over, so Mom and I had gone back to the hotel to, freshen up for the podium distribution. And I got to know he went to the stewards and he complained to them that I T-boned him. And that's where he went. I'm like, there is absolutely no damage on my car. And there's no way my car could have gotten repaired without other people noticing that, oh, there is absolutely no damage.
And there was no contact.
There was absolutely no contact. And I was still wondering. And that was the race I got my first podium. And I was like, I finished the race at least. And that on a podium position. So that was one of the incidents that I remember quite clearly. And there was this other one. So it was the first lap after the race started. And I was leading the pack. There were 3 or 4 cars behind me.
Okay.
So on the Madras International Circuit...
Leading the pack as in you were position 1?
No.
On the pole position? No. Third. Okay.
So, first and second were fighting on their own, and the mid pack basically.
Got it. But the first and the second might be just a little more ahead of you. Okay, got it.
So the thing is, Madras International Circuit, the first corner in our cars, what people usually do is either they tap brake or they lift off the gas, right? So I braked and I took the corner like I usually do, right? And because of the track temperatures or maybe the tire temperature went high, my car started hopping the rear left.
Okay.
So it was going this way on a right hander.
Okay.
And my tire came off the rim.
Okay.
While I was taking the corner. So my car went this way. I turned the steering the other way. And my car was in this direction, facing towards the barriers and towards the grass. And it tilted. And I almost toppled. Thank God it didn't. And didn't have any contact with anyone, thankfully, but that is one experience I have. Kind of held me back, kind of traumatized me because not because I touched anyone, but other people got their car out of control because my car.
They can clearly come into you, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
that you were just leading the pack and there was a pack behind you.
Yeah, there were 3-4 cars behind me, and that corner is one where you go full throttle. So anyone could have come into me easily, but thank God it wasn't me. But sadly, they went into another car, went into another car. So there were incidents, but there was no damage to my car as such. But that was one which stays in my mind because it actually was like traumatizing because I felt bad for the other driver. It ruined his race as well.
But nobody was injured,
Nobody was injured.
of course.
He had a minor concussion, but he was fine, thankfully.
And I think that's why these safety measures that race cars have to comply with, they are like extremely important. Having roll cages made out of seamless pipes and a lot of other things, seat belts and this and that.
You have your entire gear, you have your
course.
seat belts, you have the roll
Helmets.
cage. Helmets is very important. Even the 3-layer suit, just in case the car can.
Because I'm sure if you're saying your car was hopping, and especially an Etios with a coilover, I'm sure you would have hit your head against either the window or the people
You
or
have the
something.
bucket seats.
Oh,
Yeah. So that, and obviously no event commences without an ambulance on track.
of course. Okay.
That was
Some things.
something. I was actually shook after the race. Like,
You've never opened the car, no?
no. Thankfully.
कर ले, दो तीन बार कर ले. पता है, I'm telling you.
It's like, if I had to describe saloon cars racing, no? It's like bumper cars. But racing. You're like, okay, to a point, you can touch the car. And like,
हाँ.
if you're going into a corner, if you minorly touch a car, वो पूरी घूम जाएगी. But like, obviously, it depends on the other driver to control the car.
Right.
So it's like, bumper cars है, dirty driving होती है.
So, your favorite driver and one driver, dead or alive, that it's like a dream for you that you would want to race against that driver. Who might
Ayrton
be?
Senna.
Sorry?
Ayrton Senna. The man, the myth, the legend.
And why Ayrton Senna out of everybody? I mean, he's like way something else completely.
So, there are other legends from Formula One. Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton still there, Fernando Alonso also. But I was building his Lego car, the MP4. And out of curiosity, I just started looking at his videos, reading about him. It was just inspiring the way he drove.
Oh yeah.
Just imagine the amount of things you'll get to learn while driving with him on track. Like, I know I've driven with Narayan Karthikeya on a track.
Oh wow, how was that?
It was a great experience.
Okay.
So,
What were you guys driving, if I may ask?
karts.
Acha, cards.
Yeah. So, if I got a lot to learn from him, imagine the amount of things you could get to learn if you're driving on the same track with Ayrton Senna. Even if you're not racing and you're not at par with him. But the amount of things you'll just observe and notice and learn. It would be an incredible experience.
Good. I really wish he was here with us today. I mean, I also myself used to mention very recently, 3-4 days back, I just was just sitting idle at home. I watched the movie. Finally, I watched Senna, the movie. I had not seen the movie. And my God, it was so amazing the way that guy can handle a car. I don't think anybody even today can handle a Formula 1 car or any other car the way Senna could handle.
I completely agree with you.
I think 80% of the times when he is going flat out, 70 or 80% of the times, there's no traction.
Yeah.
There's no traction. Either his tail is out or his front end is out. Something is going out, but I think he's just thinking 10 times faster than anybody else.
And you're talking about having the tail out or the front out, and mostly all drivers are like, you need to have your clean line. The more skid you have, the more time you lose.
Yeah.
And he just went completely against it.
he went against the laws of physics. I mean, he completely defied the laws of physics when it comes to
Yeah,
driving.
fantastic driver.
I think I saw a few videos of you also, Muskan, and honestly, I think the way you drive on track, I think it's a complete, very similar to what Senna once said, that if you do not go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a race car driver. And I think by your driving, it is very evident that हो सकता है उसकी आत्मा ही आ गई उधर.
आ जाए, आ ही जाए.
No, but I think you are a great inspiration for many young men and women who want to enter into motorsports. Anything you'd like to say to them? Anything you wish?
It's all I like to say is, if you're passionate about the sport, even if you just want to learn, go for it. Of course, your parents might try to hold you back, but if they understand, thankfully, my parents are very supportive. They've been there by my side since the beginning. But if you are young and you want to step into the sports, do it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Start with karting and build up from there. You progress. Of course, even if you're in school, you don't start with 12th grade, right? You
Correct.
start from pre-nursery, go to nursery. So build your basics from karting. It's not that dangerous as compared to the advanced levels, like the formulas or the saloon cars. Start with karting, progress from there. If you don't, figure out something else. Explore. You have your entire life in front of you. You're not 70 or 80 years old that you have a limited time.
Sure. And I think on top of that, I'd like to also say that from the point of view of safety, if anybody who has a thing for driving fast, I think there are enough facilities to channelize that energy
On the track, yeah.
on track instead of on the main streets.
It's
Because,
quite dangerous on
It is.
streets, especially because my parents have always told my brother and I that even if you're not racing on the roads, which you should not do, but even if you're driving, only trust yourself and stay aware of what you are doing on the road. Because think of everyone else as dumbs.
You have to. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to keep that, assumption in mind
Yeah.
and then drive. And that could
You
be anywhere in the world.
Yeah. You can't expect anything from them.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself and
Yeah.
expect everyone to be idiots.
That's what my dad told me.
Yeah.
But yeah, nobody is an idiot.
Nobody.
But the whole point is that you need to be alert. We're not calling anybody idiots.
Yeah. You need to be aware on the roads.
You need to be aware on the roads. But I think great conversation. There was so much to learn from your experience, and God bless you. May you keep, continue setting tires on fire, set tracks on fire, and may you grow lots and lots and lots in all different kinds of motorsports as much as you want, till the time you want. And yeah, God bless you. Great conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I enjoyed.